The visually impaired, often considered as disabled in the society.
You are waiting for a vehicle. Somebody will come and give you 20 naira. Haba, I can't beg.
Many a times, people think that people living with disability cannot do anything. But they have proved a lot of people wrong.
Where is the place of the visually impaired in Nigeria?
Most of our people are not employed because one of the stigmatization is that we cannot access our place of work easily.
The Secretary of the Government of the Federation issue a service-wide circular to every federal government agency mandating them to comply with the 5% opportunity. I've noted some of them still ignore it, but we are doing everything possible to call their attention to see the need to comply with the circular.
I've come to realize that the society stigmatizes persons with disability. Not that because they want to stigmatize sometimes they feel that how will they relate with you? How will they approach you that will not be offended? This fear of unknown. How will I address this person? What am I supposed to say? You know, how will I look at this person?
Abraham Sunday Ewolo is a talented creative artist in his mid-30s. He hails from Kana in Nasarawa local government area of Nasarawa state. Abrahamos, as he is fondly called by his friends, is one of the millions of visually impaired persons in Nigeria. Although he was born with his sight, Abraham lost his sight at the playground while helping his friend build a local toy car commonly called Boris.
I became so, engulfed with different thoughts, how to survive, how to continue life. I was wondering, is that I'm going to end my life? Because I remember at that time, I was saying, when I was managing one of my sites then, I was like, instead of me to lose, one day I thought of losing the site. I said, if I end up losing my complete site, I think I'll commit suicide. I'll just kill myself because there's no point of living. Are you feeling okay?
Abraham's complete loss of sight could have been averted if he had access to quality eye care service.
At the initial time, the eye was still okay. The eye the iron entered, that choked my eyes, was still okay. At least I could still eat it a little bit. But because they said there was no space, that the bed they occupy no space, I need to go to Golada, for the treatment. When I went to Golada that same day, the next day, I was told that the doctor is in the theater. Cannot have access to the doctor. We have to wait after a week. And that's how we're managing the eyes. And after 1 week, I discovered that my sight, one of the eyes was completely bad. I can't longer see again with it. But initially, they ran the tests and I was still seeing with the eye. Eventually, the delay and everything, that's how I lost one of the eyes. So managing the other one now, I was told that I need to do surgery and like that the eyes are connected, that if something happened to one, definitely the other one will be affected because of the connection and all that. So, and like that, actually my parents were ignorant of it. They thought, okay, I can, because they were like, how will they remove one of the eyes and separate it from the other one? It's not, no, cut off my eyes and like that. So we left.
Eye care services in Nigeria is largely unequal for low-income and rural populations due to high cost of eye exams, inadequate eye care centers, and eye care specialists.
In Nigeria, there are about 5,000, about 5,000 optometrists in Nigeria and about 1,000 ophthalmologists in Nigeria. Now, if you check this with our 200 million people. What it means is that you have one optometrist catering for at least 40,000 Nigerians and one ophthalmologist catering for about 100 to 200,000 Nigerians. Now imagine only one primary eye care practitioner catering for this much number, and the surgeon catering for close to 200,000 people. So this would definitely result in a deficit of eye care, and on the long run would lead to some blinding cases.
Becoming visually impaired as a child almost ended the chances of Abraham to pursue his education at the post-primary level. It took 3 years for him to enroll into the Special School for the Blind in Gindiri Plateau State, where he learned how to do things independently all over again.
So that's how I went to Jos. I registered for the rehabilitation program. I was taught how to use Braille, and I was taught how to, mobility, how to walk on my own, to go to places, orientation. I was taught orientation. In the course of mobility, teach you how to walk on your own without somebody leading you, how to get used to the environment, take you around the school, outside the school, tell you this place is a landmark here, the school is this place, when you move from here to the, start to show me so many things like that. And gradually, I was also taught how to wash my clothes. This is what I was doing before, and I lost my sight. So, but even though I lost my sight, I was still washing my clothes. So when I got to school, they started telling me how to wash my clothes. And because when I lost my sight, whenever I give my younger ones to help me wash, I feel they don't wash it well. I feel because are you done washing it? I said just now, it's too quick for me. So I feel they don't take their time to do the washing very well. So I learned how to wash my clothes, how to dry clean my clothes, the ironing, using charcoal, electric iron I can use to iron my clothes, to anything house choice. Fetch water from the well. Even in school, I go to the well to draw water from the well, go to the borehole to fetch water and all that. My this was fun. It was so fun that that I enjoyed myself more than my university. Because my secondary school, I have a couple of friends who are also visually impaired. In my school, when I was in school, there was about 5 or 7 of us. In the midst of 1,000 something students who are sighted. It's only just about 5 to 7 of us that are visually impaired, that are blind, that cannot see. And when we get to know in the school, people from the class, like in my class then, I was alone in GS1, in the midst of almost 100 students. So students come around to help me dictate my notes. Sometimes I call them, please come help me dictate this note. Like that. So the fun I'm talking about in secondary school is that some of my friends who are visually impaired, we go out to play football together. Yes, we also participate in the inter-house cup because we discovered that whenever they are doing inter-house sport in Jesus Kwali, we are not being involved. So we protested. We say no, we have to be involved. We can't be going to the same dining with those who are sighted, going to the same class, writing exam together, doing assignment, the same examination, the same assignment, and we are not involved in the sport. It's not going to work. So I remember that we joined the inter-house sport. We were able to run we did 100 meter race, 200 meter race. Participated.
Abraham is one of the privileged visually impaired to enroll into school to acquire formal education, as many in Nigeria aren't that lucky. Although Nigeria has a national policy on inclusive education, implementation of the policy for the visually impaired leaves a lot to be desired.
When we talk about inclusiveness, and you are taking a blind student to a school, and there is no rail for them to walk into the classrooms, even those on wheelchair. Are you getting it? So it's a problem. Okay, I know that in other way, government is trying, like FCT is really trying. So we have the students that are deaf and hard of hearing. We have them in Kuje. government secondary school today, and they employ instructors, sign language teachers, those that read deaf education. So whenever they are in the classroom, the teachers, as the teacher is teaching, they'll be signing for the students so as to carry them along. Then in Kwali, where I was before, we have some of our members there too that read either they read VH, visual or hearing impairment. They are there also assisting the children. So, but we still want the government to do more.
We have what we call inclusive education, and there is what we call a special education. Special education deal with those who may not be able to cope up well in an inclusive education setting. While the inclusive education setting is a window that provides opportunity for the disability community to be admitted in any school of their own choice to study with everybody on an equal basis. That is Section 18, or discrimination against persons with disabilities, make inclusive education compulsory. And therefore, every institution, they reject admission of persons with disabilities in the institution. We always approach that institution to tell them the provision of the law and the necessity for them to be able to admit these persons with disabilities in this area.
A survey by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine recently shows that 5.8% of those unable to read and write in the country are visually impaired. This is attributed to be one of the reasons for the low productivity and high level of poverty among the visually impaired, with many of them resorting to street begging for survival.
Why would they go begging? Why? Many times people think that people living with disability cannot do anything, even academically. But they have proved a lot of people wrong, okay? Because you find that those that have, especially the visually impaired that I have worked with, many times they excel more than the sighted or normal students in the classroom.
Educating the visually impaired does not come cheap, as it requires special training, techniques and aids. This further narrows the chances of the poor and vulnerable willing to acquire formal education. According to the Vocational Training Center for the Blind, it costs not less than 750,000 naira, equivalent of $2,100, to take a visually impaired through complete rehabilitation. Overcoming some of the obstacles faced by the visually impaired, Abraham managed to complete his first degree in theatre arts from the Nasarawa State University, Kefi, where he also acquired his master's degree. Taking himself to school wasn't an easy task, with a poor transport system that does not take into cognizance the special needs of persons with disability. On one occasion, Abraham was hit by a motorcyclist, an accident that almost cost him one of his legs.
No, I was going to school with a friend. A friend accompanied me. That day I said, my friend came out. I was like, I'm going to school. He said, okay, let's go together. Want to accompany me? And after I got to Nyanya, I was just at the pedestrian side, and the bike man was coming with a speed. You know, I was not at road. We're not crossing the road, just walking on our own. And my friend held my hand, and the bike man just came and I was the one that he targeted and just knocked down. And that's how I fell, and I was struggling to stand up. I didn't fall at the roadside. So people were like, before people, I just managed and took myself out of the road, major road, and people came and looked at him, this man cannot blind. I not seeing him. His brother is holding him, I just came and jammed him, take him to the hospital. That's how the man just managed, and the bike man just took his bike and ran away. You know, and I was left like that, and that's how I managed. A friend of mine was taken to the hospital, like that. I went to the hospital. In the hospital, they are quick to say amputation. I want to amputate my leg. Hospital for 1 week, and I said, my parents said, no, my leg cannot be amputated. You can access other herbal treatment, and that's how we went for herbal treatment. After that, the leg became better, kind of. Before I went to hospital, I did a surgery. Then my leg was not bent, or before you know, that's how my leg. After the surgery, I told the doctor, I brought this leg, it was not bent to. The only thing that my experience was just discharge. I usually have discharge, and which he said it affected my bone. But why is my leg bent now? When I came, it was not bent. I know it's usually discharge, because it usually wet my trouser and all that. So he said they are going to do it, I shouldn't worry, and like that. Till then, after that, I went to recently I visited a clinic, a hospital rather, at Apo, and I was told I have to pay a sum of 5 million naira, my leg to be corrected, you know. And since then, when I get 5 million naira, it's not been easy. I'm just managing the leg like that, you know, and doing my things. I don't want to allow the leg to bother me. I've been doing my things, going for programs and show and like that.
Despite his seeming misfortune, Abraham chose to encourage others through his songs and his story of determination. Many, like Abraham, are unable to secure employment due to their physical condition as the society continues to stigmatize them. While some look at them with pity rather than empathy, others perceive them as incapacitated to perform basic tasks.
Like at times I remember when I started my career teaching, some of my mates were saying, I can't stay. After all, we did combined course. I don't think I'll stay with those children. I said, I love teaching them. And I've never regretted teaching them because most of them have graduated. I have Ayo Efunkoya. He works with Voice of Nigeria. He's in Lagos. I have Ayo I have Shegun. I have a lot of them. I have Abraham that is here. I have Joe. Last time, Joseph wedded. I have Mary Musa. She's a barrister. And a lot of them just like that. And they keep on calling me. If it's on my birthday, you hear a lot of them calling me, Auntie, how are you? All this. So that's the joy.
And somebody liked my photo. I posted. I posted this picture. I said, let me save this here. These three of us standing outside. Right? Yes. These other pictures. I posted these some days back. Let me like it. Mr. Augustina replied my message. She said, Mr. Sunday, you look good. It's been a while. And I replied, Augustina, beautiful. Yeah, it's been a while. So.
Although advancement in technology has eliminated a lot of barriers for visually impaired persons, enabling them to live confident and independent life, inclusion of persons with disability in Nigeria remains far from being achieved. Many visually impaired persons are able to use social media and other software programs on their smartphones and computers. However, awareness among the sighted community remains very low.
If people are aware and people know about it, they'll make sure on their own. This thing does not cost anything. It's not a rocket sign to say, okay, I'm putting this in place. Are you going to be difficult? No, they cannot function. How will they function? First and foremost, the people need to be aware and informed about person's disability. Then secondly, on their own now, they go extra mile and say, okay, sometimes if they don't even know, they can ask, what do you think? What features do you want us to put in this office for it to function? They will say, okay, in the computers, I want to use computer. Like filling a form. I can scan my form to the computer because I have a scanner. I have a portable scanner at home that I scan my documents. Even the charge card, sometimes I have to recharge my phone and there's nobody. I can just scan it through and recharge my phone. You know? Or use my phone. Now Android phones, I even have scanner. I can place my phone on this camera and scan it. And I'll recharge my phone.
Why don't you employ one of them and see? Give them a chance. Employ them. And then if they did not deliver, then you will know. Employ them. The government says we should. There's a certain percentage, according to the policy, 5%. So why? Give them that opportunity, and you will see if they will not excel.
After almost 2 decades of debate at the parliament, President Muhammadu Buhari in December 2018 signed the Persons with Disability Act into law, which saw the setting up of the Persons with Disability Commission under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. The law, among other things, criminalizes discrimination against persons with disability and aims to ensure inclusiveness of persons with disability in the socio-economic consciousness of the nation. The law, which has a 5-year transitional period after which public structures and transport systems must be accessible for PWDs, also provides for the allocation of 5% employment opportunity to persons with disability in the public sector. About 4 years after signing of the Act into law, implementation of some of the provisions is far from desirable.
Most of our people are not employed, and I want to say that in the disability community, we have the highest rate of educated persons, and more of our people are eligible. But if you talk of the rate of employment, we are grossly represented. And I want a change in this direction, because one of the stigmatization is that we cannot access our place of work easily, we cannot function properly. No, it is a wrong perception. That's why something like this YKD is very important for us, because most of our people go about and people will marvel that why did you go out alone? Why are you not accompanied with somebody? And due to economic challenges, we cannot be carrying sighted guards up and down. So with this YKD, we go to our place of work, we can work, and with other assistive device, we can function just like any other persons in a place of work. That is what I look forward to see, that we are gainfully employed.
This is a notice of application advertised in the National Daily by a government agency in 2021. It clearly states that persons with disability are non-eligible to apply. By implication, Abraham and others like him are not protected by laws, regardless of whatever skills or educational qualification they may have acquired.
Every government agency is supposed to comply with the 5% provisions. And in that case, we have partnered with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. We remain grateful to His Excellency Boss Mustafa for listening to our cry. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation issued a service-wide circular to every federal government agency, mandating them to comply with the 5% opportunity. And I can tell you that the circular have started working already. A lot of these federal government agencies have started responding to it, though some of them still ignore it, but we are doing everything possible to call their attention to see the need to comply with the circular. Some of them, we have already compiled the list of those agencies that are refusing to comply with the circular. We will send them back to the Office of the Secretary to the Government Federation to report them for discrimination against persons with disabilities based on the provision of the law. Additionally, the Federal Character Commission is very, very supportive about the 5%, and she is working in her own way to make sure that she forces these MTAs to comply with the 5%. The head of service of the Federation also work on that area. As I am telling you, over 100 persons with disabilities have already secured employment in different government agencies based on approval of waiver for employment by the head of service of the Federation, and we are still working with different orders to be able to carry them along. We have a lot of the CVs for persons with disabilities that are here with us, so we choose from them based on their qualification order. We advise the disability community from different parts of the country to continue to submit their own CVs. You can submit it online, you can submit it in any way.
Section 3 to 6 of the Persons with Disability Act provides that PWDs should be afforded lifts, ramps and other accessibility aids to access all physical structures.
In the area of accessibility, we have tried our best to touch some tertiary institutions. We have touched the Othman Danfodio University in Sokoto. We also touched the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. We have also completed accessibility facilities at the University of Ilorin. These are part of our modest contribution to try to test the availability of accessibility facilities in these tertiary institutions. We realize that persons with disabilities continue to suffer in the tertiary institution because of poor accessibility facilities. Today, as I'm talking to you at the moment, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities have also provided accessibility intervention at the Sultanate Council in Sokoto.
The National Commission for Persons with Disability has, among other things, the responsibility of data collection and record keeping of information regarding PWDs and receiving complaints of rights violation from PWDs. Although the Disability Commission says it has set up digital platforms for receiving complaints of discrimination against persons with disability, no conviction has been secured for discrimination against persons with disability, with only 12 lawyers.
Sincerely speaking, one of the greatest approaches we use is alternative conflict resolution. We try to manage it in a way that we can be able to achieve immediate results. So wherever that goes beyond that the discriminators against persons with disabilities refuse to concede and try to make sure that we address that problem immediately, we are going to apply the law. We have lawyers here, 12 lawyers here. Some of them have been sent to us from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation who continue to provide us with the necessary support. So any of these cases, we wouldn't mind to carry anybody to court to make sure that we deal with these cases. We have some court cases there that happened, but some of them were later resolved out of court because of the nature of the offenses. So we try to make sure that this is an opportunity for us to create the necessary awareness in people so that they will be able to avoid this, and we will do everything possible to protect the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities in Nigeria.
With 17 states domesticating the Persons with Disability Act, the full impact of the legislation remains to be seen, and until then, Abraham and others like him will continue to suffer discrimination in the society.